Hey there, Duck. What's up?
Howdy, howdy. Okay. Oh, there's my video. Ooh. They just kicked on the heat in the building and now it's starting to roast. Oh, looks like my video still. Oh, no, there it is.
We're still getting 90 degrees here in Phoenix. It's like, geez, it's November today. Come on, guys.
Yeah, really, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been relatively warm here in Connecticut also, unseasonably warm, let's put it that way. So,
Yeah, we get tired of it after a while. Get real tired of it. It's only gonna be 88 today. So, but you know what? After going through the summers, you get to this point. If this was just summer, I'd be happy if it's 88 degrees in the summer. I'd be pleased. I'd be okay.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Man, I'll tell you, these days. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you guys doing?
Good. Doing all right.
It's 50 here. There's 30 degrees this morning, but it warmed up.
Mm.
It's good. It's good motorcycle riding weather here in the morning, so I might go out and do a couple of short rides, just little fun things. So, who knows? Have you guys noticed a sort of a general, like, people just aren't doing much right now? Have you
Yes.
noticed that?
Yes.
Yeah.
I was just having a conversation. So I teach through my local camera store, and one of the owners and I were just talking about that yesterday. There's been a very noticeable, significant drop off in participation in both the live workshops that we've started back up and the Zoom stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I see it in my group as well, in my Project 52. That like probably in the two classes probably have maybe 10 people combined, 10 people just not showing up,
Yeah, and I'm sure as an educator, it's very frustrating.
Yeah.
Well, I know for the first class, you're at least over 6 into it because you have the second class. How far into the second class are you?
I just did assignment 20 for them, so they're on 17
Okay.
or 18. And I've got
Well, even on a
probably-
regular,
it was 12 people that signed up, and I think I've got like 4 people that are just gone. I sent them emails like, don't let it go to waste. It worries me. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do another class. I don't know if there's enough interest for me to even do one in the fall or in the
percentage,
starting in January.
well, percentage wise, is that higher attrition than what it
I have very
normally
high
is?
retention. No, the average people leave the class. The average is like 22% ever finish an online course. And I have better than 60%. So
Yeah.
I'm very happy with the people. I mean, the numbers are good for me. So
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Boy, did they update any of the camera software in the new iOS? Do you know? Everything, I mean, maybe it's me, but everything looks so much better since that iOS update. Interesting.
I didn't know if it was your computer or Zoom. It definitely looks clearer on my end for the Zoom call than normal.
It is?
Yeah.
Because Duck looks way, I mean, I'm seeing detail in the background, Duck, that I didn't see last time. It looks sharp, and the still shots of Mark and Stephanie look really good as well. And I'm like, well, maybe I didn't hear anything about that being updated, but it's sure. I'm just using the camera on my old iMac here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Well, Stephanie and I look really good anyway, so it's kind of hard to
Well,
tell.
yeah.
Hey, keep it up. You won't be able to fit in the screen.
You're 50% right, Mark. Yeah, it's just something that I've noticed. Not only, and it's not only with photographers. It's like some design blogs that I follow are just dead. The Behance stuff that I'm seeing, people are much slower putting stuff up on Behance. I wonder if it's a general, because I know people are tired. People are tired of politics. They're tired of wokeness. They're tired of cancel culture. They're tired of the stuff that is all in our way. It's all the stuff that affects us, creatives. So wonderful article on cancel culture and how that has stymied young people from even going into the arts. They're afraid to create anything because it's going to offend someone somewhere. And then they get trashed on Twitter. And for a young person to get trashed on Twitter or Facebook, that is the most horrific thing that could ever happen to them. And
ego crusher, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just really sad to see kids like, oh, I can't put myself out there because if I say something wrong, or if I do a song that's wrong, maybe, I don't know that if you guys are aware of it, but there's a group of people trying to cancel the Rolling Stones. They want the Rolling Stones to be removed. Removed from airplay. Don McLean's, all his music, American Pie, all that. They want him gone. This is tragic, and it's not just political and all that silliness. It's also if someone puts something out that someone else doesn't like, and the someone who doesn't like it has more buds.
Mm-hmm.
They gang up on the person. I belong to and I'm not going to mention the groups because I think that would not be fair, but I belong to a group of people that just love photography. And when I got into that Facebook group, I don't participate there much as far as putting stuff up, but I always go and I always encourage people that I think are doing something interesting, and if someone, and this is wild and this is my fault, and I really want to apologize to all the millennials and the computer people out there, but when I don't like something, I just ignore it. I know I should bash it and do a YouTube about how terrible it is and do TikToks, but I don't. If I don't like it, I just go, okay, and I move on. I only comment positively and never comment negatively, because I always think, who the hell am I to say, oh, that picture is, you should have done this. You should have. That's not me. And if you listen to me, you're an idiot. I'm sorry. I'm just one guy, right? Just let it go. But lately, within the last, I would say 2 months, people have put up things and then, oh my God, it's almost like people are angry that this picture was put up and it doesn't pass their particular muster. I don't get it. I don't know where we're going with this down the road, but it sure is tough on young people or people who just want to create.
Yeah.
I had a woman in our group send me our Project 52 group, a new participant, rather new participant. She sent me a note. She goes, I can't believe how unbelievably kind and nice are the people are on Project 52 and helpful. And nobody goes, read the fucking manual. Nobody goes, let me Google that for you or anything. Everybody just jumps in and helps, and everybody's appreciative, and everybody when somebody asks for a suggestion, they get good suggestions. Nobody cuts anybody down. And if there is something to be said, they say it. And if they, if like this is, if we think it's too busy, or I don't think that's the right typeface or what have you, nobody hesitates to say it because they don't say it in a mean way. They say it in a helpful way. I think, well,
Yeah. It's funny you should mention that because I belong to two of my local Toastmasters groups.
ah,
And it's peer-based critiquing of public speaking. And one of the formulas that they teach is what they call a sandwich process of critiquing, where you start off with something positive, something that you know that they're doing right. Then you start talking about where they can improve, and not just tell them where they can improve, but also try to direct how they can improve. And then close it off with another positive affirmation.
yes,
And let me tell you, that works across the board.
absolutely. Absolutely. And Mark and Steph both know this. When I critique a piece, first thing I want to do is to show them what they did right.
Mhm.
It's important that they know that they did something right, so that when we follow it up with the critique part, they're receptive to it instead of being negative. If the moment you implant the negative in someone, it stays with them longer. There's a book out there called The Power of Negativity. It's a really, really good book. And it talks about like blog posts. If you want to have more people follow your blog, write negative blogs. Beat up somebody, tell them, well, all you have to do is read the headlines on Medium. Just go read Medium's headlines today and you'll see what I'm talking about. 10 things you should never say to your friend. 10 things that will make your life miserable. And there's not 10 things that'll make your life great. Those don't get nearly the hits. Negativity is a powerful, powerful thing, and it's built into our DNA. So I start with something positive. When you start with something positive, they are then receptive to the critique because they know it's coming from a positive place. I think that's just the best way in the world to teach. I've been doing it in Project 52 for 10 years, and I see massive growth in my students because I'm not just tearing them up. See, I do the same thing with them. I'm doing portraits of people. I never tell the person in front of me anything negative that they're doing because I don't see the point of it. So I don't say, oh, don't bring your head up like that. It makes you look like a chicken. Okay. All they're going to think of for the rest of the shoot is, I don't want to look like a chicken. What's wrong with my neck? You've just planted that. If they do something in front of the camera that looks goofy or untoward or whatever, then I'll just break that and I'll go, that's cool. I'll take the camera down. I'll say, oh, that's cool. Let's turn you this way a little bit. I can always get them back in the groove, but I can't win them back once I've told them that there's a flaw. So same sort of thing. Mark, what's up?
I'm expecting everybody to start dropping their 10 things to buy for Christmas YouTube videos where it's been a little bit slow. That's like, you got the negativity YouTube videos that people will put out, and then this time of year they'll do you got a photographer to shop for, here's 10 things that you should get them, and then they put all their affiliate links. I'm sure we'll start getting a bunch of those coming out.
And who is this now? Again, you cut out for a moment.
Oh, just the YouTubers, like, people on YouTube in general, like, depending on the niche, like, for a photographer, you got to buy gifts for a photographer. Here's the 10 things, that you could buy for them. And then people will watch that.
Sure.
So I'm expecting some of those videos to start coming out. And then DJI's had a bunch of stuff coming. So
I'm going to do one. I'm going to do a video Monday on 10 books to give to photographers. You
Yeah.
know, the other thing that I want to do is I want to gift people. We were walking by Kohl's this morning, my wife and I, for a little morning walk. We get out and do our little thing, and walk by Kohl's, and they've got this beautiful Christmas artwork up on there, right? Which I personally think is too soon. It's like, you know, but these retailers, they bank on Christmas, man. That's where they make all their money. Well, they ain't making any from me this year. Amazon might make a pittance from me, but only because I might buy some books. I want to support artists and photographers, especially photographers. I want to support them. I probably won't be buying, you know, any digital courses or something from somebody, but I'm going to buy local books. I'm going to buy books from, Lee's doing that book on the Derby. I've got 4 friends who really, really love horse racing, and I'm going to pick up her book. Can you imagine how cool it is to get a book and they go, oh, that's really cool. And you go, yeah, she's only printing 100 of them. You go, whoa. I have one of 100. Yeah. I have one of 100. That's it. How cool that is. How cool it is. I'm giving art. I just ordered the frames. I bought, Doc, do you ever print on Square? Do you ever print Square prints?
No.
I don't know what's wrong with me, but all of a sudden I'm like, Square. It's like I've discovered the Hasselblad for the first time. So I bought this 12 by 12 paper from Red River.
Oh, they got some nice stuff.
And I'm in love with this stuff. This 60-pound mat, premium mat. So I'm buying these 12 by 12 squares, frames from Amazon, and I'm going to print my photographs and give them out. I don't want to buy anything. Although it's one of my favorite shots that I did. And I do shots that remind me of music. I hear music when I'm shooting. So interestingly enough, my wife doesn't like this, but for some reason I'm drawn to this picture. She's like, oh, I didn't. She goes, I did, and I'm like, yeah, I know, but I like it. So,
and that's all that matters, right?
Yeah, audience of one. You
It.
produce for an audience
That's what I
of
got
one.
in my room. At home.
If you produce for other people or for likes or hearts or mentions or anything, if you're producing for that, you can only go downhill, because gaining more and more and more people means you've got to flatten out and flatten out and flatten out until you are until you're K-pop.
Yeah.
And that's great if you want to be K-pop, but all understand that who was last year's K-pop heroes? Nobody knows. Nobody remembers, because somebody else has delved down even further.
Yeah, I kind of look at it like chasing your own tail. You're never going to catch it.
Yeah, you can't. You have, if you're not providing your own impetus to your own creativity, to your own style, aesthetic, etc., then nobody else can provide it for you. That's not possible. And all you'll end up doing, I think, in the end, is being the lowest common denominator, being boring. And then you're forgotten.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're just, one of the crowd. I always feel, this gentleman that does YouTube videos, what's his name? I bet you follow him. He's an English guy. What's his?
Sean Tucker.
No, I follow Sean Tucker. Boy, Sean did one the other day that I saved, and that one really got me, because it's where I've been thinking so much. And when he did that one called Get Small, and it's
Yes.
all about just what we were talking about, you know, your stuff, not somebody else's. Okay, it's the Photographic Eye. Do you know that YouTube channel? English guy.
He's fairly new on the scene, right?
He may be. He's only got, this is a really good one. He's getting 1,500 views in 4 hours. So that's pretty good. But yeah, I don't think he's.
Yeah, he just on my radar not too long ago. Yeah, he puts out some interesting stuff.
Yes. Oh yeah, he's fairly new. He's only got 78 videos. So. All right. He's putting them out though. He's putting out 15 videos in 30 days. So he is new. I like him.
Yeah.
I like him.
Yeah.
He's not pompous, and he's
Makes
not.
you think.
Yeah, and he's not.
It's not fluff.
It's not fluff, and it's not gear.
Yeah.
I can't do gear stuff anymore. I'm just tired of it. But yeah, he's pretty good. And are you following Dan Milner, Duck?
No.
Dan Milner is a great guy to follow. Former journalist, photojournalist, and he is the photographic guy for Blurb. He's the evangelist, photo evangelist for Blurb. So really, really fabulous, and again, doesn't pull any punches. Just like the Photographic Eye, doesn't pull any punches. He's not trying to sell you anything. You know, it's like, you know, he was talking in a video he put out today. He was talking about how photographers that he knows are like just miserable in their lives. He says, well, you know, why don't you tell your followers on YouTube, you know, like what's going on? I go, oh, we can't do that. We'll lose followers. And it's like, so, you know, people need to know this stuff. You know, I think that the hardest thing to tell any photographer starting out is just how goddamn hard it is to do this. They either don't want to hear it, or they go into denial, maybe because all their friends love their pictures or whatever it is. But then they get shocked by how difficult it is. And all you want to say is, if it was easy, it wouldn't be worth doing. Nothing that's easy is ever worth doing as in value to the world. Why are people who you know, stand at the checkout counters and push things through the scanner, you know, making $18 an hour? Because it's not worth more than $18 an hour. We've already seen they got machines that'll do it for free. You just stand there and scan your stuff. There's no value there. It's like getting a scholarship if you're a musician. If you play the guitar, well, good luck. There's 600 people play the guitar. You play the oboe, you play the bassoon. As I always tell parents, get with your kids, teach them the oboe, the bassoon, the cello, viola, all the deep instruments, especially double reeds. You got a scholarship right there. They don't care if you study music or not. They just need a damn bassoon in the orchestra. Oh, well.
Yeah. So I got a lesson I can share with the group today.
Please.
I feel like an ass. You're going to yell at me for this. So I've been revising my pricing.
Yeah.
And I went up on, I started doing more headshots lately.
Okay.
And I decided I was going to go up on my price. And I forgot. Well, I broke one cardinal rule, is I placed my prices on my website when I first launched my website, hoping that, you know, people see my prices, they'll give me a call. And of course, I promptly forgot that they are there. There it is. 3 years later, I decide to go up on my pricing, completely forgetting that that price list is on the website. And I got called out by it, by a potential client. Came back and bit me in the ass.
Oh, you charged him a higher rate and he saw a lower rate on your website. Thought you were trying to get to him.
Absolutely.
Oh, did you
Yep.
smooth it over?
Oh, yeah. I told him that I will honor that lower price.
Yep.
And I immediately removed all pricing on my website.
You know, it's something that it's a topic that it's hard to discuss, because I think if you put, you know, well, there's 6 of us here. If we decided to discuss the theory of putting the web price on the website versus not putting the price on the website,
Yeah.
Photo Talk
Well,
Friday would
I
run
can
into
share-
late Photo Talk Sunday, because you
Yeah,
can talk it to death and no one knows.
Yeah, I can share why I did it originally.
Mm-hmm.
Is because a lot of the local photographers in my area had their prices on there. So I just kind of followed suit. Do I kick myself now? Yeah, I do. You know, live and learn.
Well, I think there's a place for prices on the website, because I think there's a new kind of photography that's being done. And if we're not aware of that new genre, that social media / social media product genre, the Amazon shots, etc., but we have to treat them differently than we treat advertising and design. I don't see there's any problem creating if you've got a thing for sale, tchotchke, maybe you make donuts, maybe you make perfume. I don't know what it is that you do, but if you do that and you need shots for your website, we have a 5-shot package. We have a 10-shot package, because we're not dealing with clients in that case who understand IP. They, you know, they're Bob and Gladys make figurines for Christmas and they want to make a Shopify website. And they bought everything. They bought the plaster and the paint and everything. And then some photographer comes in and goes, well, you know, this will probably charge, I'll probably have to charge a day rate for this of $1,500. And they're going, you make $1,500 a day? You know, first of all, like, they don't realize that you work twice in November, but you know, it's really a shitty month for you. But they're $1,500 a day. And you go, yes. And of course, there's the rights management. You can only use them for 6 months and you have to pay me again. They're like, yeah, bye-bye. Bye-bye. And no one, I don't care, some top New York photographer with his attorney bullshit is ever going to tell me that's going to go away. It's never going to go away. It's never going to go away. And as we have more and more channels, Instagram, Behance, LinkedIn, blah, 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 the rights managed stuff for small business is never going to go away, or never coming back. It's gone. And I live in Phoenix, and I will tell you that the ad agencies in Phoenix, every single one of them that I'm familiar with, and there's some out there that I don't know, but every one, all the big agencies and all the medium-sized agencies, it's a buyout. And if you don't like it, don't let the door hit you on the way out. We're good. And it doesn't matter if you're from LA or New York or Chicago, because they realize that they can't manage the image. They're legally saying that they will, but they can't. Somebody grabs that thing off the screen, sticks it on Facebook, and it goes viral on Facebook, and all of a sudden they got to pay you $4,000 because 15 million people saw it. And they're like, we can't control it, so we're not going to try. Before it was easy. Print, they had to print it. Magazines, they had to ask for, they paid for the run, and the magazine printed 35,000 copies. This whole thing's changed. Big companies, big clients, yeah, that's still a thing. It won't be it won't be for much longer. That will go its path. Yeah, it's a different world, but I think these package prices, when you let Bob and Gladys know that they can get 15 of their tchotchkes photographed for $750, they understand that, because they had to pay $1,500 for the plaster, and they had to, and there was no like, I need plaster. Well, what are you going to use the plaster for?
Right.
The only place that still exists is the wedding industry. And if you haven't seen the gag reel where the couple goes in to buy the cake, and the baker's there, and he's going, oh yeah. She goes, I want a really beautiful cake. Oh, he says, we have cakes right over here. She goes, I love that cake. How much is that cake? He says, well, that cake is $75. She goes, that's beautiful. Could we put, bride and groom? And the guy says, oh, you want a wedding cake? And she goes, yeah. And he goes, oh, well, this cake, if we put bride and groom, this is now a wedding cake, and it's $350. She goes, well, can I just buy the $75 cake and put, no, we don't allow that.
Yeah.
But you can see how clients get confused. I think that package pricing, I don't have a problem with headshot pricing. I think it's cool. And did you offer a discount for 2 or more people?
I did, yeah. But to be honest, a lot of the companies I work for, they have small staff. So they're, I'm not gaining anything, and they're not really saving much. So
Okay. Yeah, you do for companies, group headshots and things.
yeah.
I am.
But what I do offer that's different from everybody else in my area is I offer 2 shots, one left facing and one right facing, so that they can choose depending on what platform they're posting to. So that's my little niche, because it's not much effort on my part to edit one more image. And they feel they're getting, good value for their money.
Cool. That's the way you do it. We're getting ready at the agency to add some package pricing to it, so that people can see like a 5-shot tchotchke. If it fits on a table, you got 5 of them. This is it. It's not 5 open-ended shots. It fits on a table. We can light it. But we've got international photographers, and our dollar rate here is through the roof in South Africa, where Carla is. She goes, there's no way like you're ever going to get that kind of money. So we have to work with that somehow, I think. Anyway, yeah, cool. That's very cool. Mark, how's your food thing coming, man?
Good. I've got one scheduled for next Wednesday. I think they're just a little bit slow. They're kind of in the same thing and getting traction. The sales guy tells me that he's got this person he's talking to, and he signed up this one. So then it just becomes a matter of scheduling the shoots. But I got paid today for the first invoice, no problem. The second one and the third one I had in after their cutoff date, since they do 2 pay cycles a month. So everything's been going pretty good.
Well, the fact that they're paying you on a pay cycle is great.
Yeah. And I know we've talked about it before, where people are like, when I tell them what the rate is for the what I'm doing, but I'm like, if you had an agent, you're going to have to pay an agent. I'm not spending money on marketing. I'm getting all this experience, and I can count on the paychecks coming in, when they say that they're going to come in. So I'm definitely learning. I'm learning a ton from doing it.
Yeah, you can't beat you can't beat being paid to learn.
Yeah. And beyond, and it's beyond the camera stuff too, like dealing with the restaurant owner or that's there that's making the food, and learning to work with him. And the sales guy is, he kind of plays the role of an art director a little bit. Like, he'll talk to me about different things. He's pretty much the art director.
Mhm.
Where I do whatever, but if he sees something, he'll say something. So and talking to him, I had a conversation with him the other day, and I said, I want to make sure you're okay with it, but I think it would be a great idea after I edited the pictures. I'm like, I don't know how the other photographers do it, but I would love to make kind of like a bullet point list for you, so that way after you have somebody signed up, you've got this sheet that it's preparing for your photo shoot. And then, certain things that
Yeah.
even though they're preparing the food, to take into consideration, like don't put the top of the hamburger bun on, or don't put the hamburger bun, the top one, on the burger. That way I can do it and make sure that I got the burger lined up the right way, and see which
Sure.
side of the bun is going to look best, because I had one that was all squished in, but it was stuck to the cheese, so I ended up retouching it in order to make it so it wasn't smashed in.
That's
I know
great.
that they are not expecting high-end retouching, but I don't want a great big dent in the burger either.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
great.
I find talking directly with the chef is the best solution. I've tried doing those like bullet points, like you said, with food photography, and it's never retained. It's just too much.
Yeah, you're right. And he's going to give it to him beforehand. And then the other thing that we decide is, if we're scheduled to shoot at 2 o'clock, we're going to tell him like at 1:45, we're going to have a real brief meeting beforehand and go over all that one more time, just to kind of like reinforce the points to him and be like, this is an investment. We know you're coming out of pocket to spend the money, have this photography done. Let me show you how to make the most out of what you're paying for.
Well,
Yeah.
it's always good to offer.
Yeah.
It's always good to offer. That's a great thing to do.
I got a horror story for you. It's actually very funny if you want to hear it. I had to shoot some sandwiches for a little fast food sandwich shop, and the owner was very, very cheap. So anyhow, he had his line chef do all the preparation, and he wanted minimal amount of styling to it, because in his head, it was how it comes out of the kitchen is how it should be shot. And no matter how much I try to explain to him, it just went over his head. So I just took it upon myself to do what I had to do. I purposely left the last sandwich to be a Philly cheesesteak, because that, if you are aware, it's the sloppiest sandwich to try to photograph. And I specifically said, hey, look, you need to do this, this, and this to it so it looks good. And he says, oh, no, we're already starting to get, to the end of the time. Let's just get it over with. By this time, I was so frustrated, I didn't care anymore. It got to that point. The sandwich came out, and as I am walking it from the kitchen area because I was shooting in the restaurant, to the table, I'm watching the cheese harden, and I'm watching the bun melt. So this thing is falling apart in my hands as I'm setting it up. So I take a bunch of toothpicks. I'm trying desperately to keep this thing together. I pop off some shots, and it says, you know what? I'm just going to have to spend time in Photoshop to fix this up. All right. Do the shots. I pick up the sandwich. It's the last one of the night. I go to dump it in the trash. He goes, whoa, 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 whoa. What are you doing? This is, I'm done shooting it. I'm just tossing it out. No, 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 no. Don't toss it out. That's Angus beef. Give it to me. And I'm saying to myself, I had my hands in this. There are toothpicks all over the place. And I'm telling him, he says, no, I don't want to go into waste. He says, well, be careful. There are a ton of toothpicks in there. He starts pulling the toothpicks out, and he's going to eat this sandwich rather than let it go to waste. What happens? Sure enough, I hear it. Oh, he cut the roof of his mouth on a toothpick that he failed to take out. And I'm thinking to myself, that's what you get.
Jeez, I get it. I know that profit margins aren't that much.
Yeah. And none of those images will ever be on my portfolio. Not a single one of them.
Oh, no, no, no. If you can't run your set, you can't use the picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's bottom
It
line.
it was the worst experience I've ever had.
Yeah,
You know.
the first one I did, he was going to bring stuff out and have me shoot it and then give it to the customer. I'm like, how do you think the customer's going to feel if they watch you take their food, bring it here, I take pictures of it and you serve it to them, especially right now? I'm like, that's not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's just
You meet
the
all
world
kinds.
we live in.
Yeah.
I tell you.
Now, I got a question for you,
Sure.
Don, and something I was talking to him about, and maybe I'm wrong, but if the restaurant is spending the money for a photo shoot, and it's a restaurant, they're doing the food, say they're paying $500 for the photography, and then they bring out $300 worth of food that we photograph, and then, it can't be consumed. Now, I know they write off food as waste as part of their daily basis, and I'm sure
Yeah.
there's like a small margin. But if they was to bring out $300, like that's the menu value of this food, would they be allowed to write off that full menu value of that food?
Yeah, every nickel. Because it was used for
Okay.
promotion, and by law, in most every state, if it's used for promotion, it cannot be sold. It has to be thrown away. You can't even give it away. We used to, I think you've heard this story, Mark. We shot hams and turkeys and crap for Bar S for 6 or 8 years. And they would bring us not one canned ham, they'd bring 24 canned hams. So we could find the perfect label to shoot, because we didn't have Photoshop. And we'd do that, and we'd have 23 hams in a refrigerator. These are canned hams. They don't have to be in a refrigerator, right? They're fully cooked and they're in that gel crap, right? We couldn't even give those away. We could not give them to St. Vincent de Paul. We couldn't give them to poor people because they had been, quote, designated for a photo shoot. We tried like hell. We finally found.
Can you hear me, Doug?
Yeah.
Did we lose Don's audio?
We did.
Okay, I didn't.
I thought it was a glitch, but I guess not.
Yeah, I can hear you guys, but I didn't hear him.
Don, we lost your audio. His mic's still on. No. Did something become unplugged? Maybe. Oh, that's weird. Check the mute button on that mic. Sometimes that happens to me. I have the same mic or a similar mic. Yeah. Nope. It's got to be probably something simple because it turned off just like that.
Everything's just crazy now.
Oh, right. Don's back.
How about now?
Hey, there you are.
Much better.
Weird. Well, I won't go through that whole story again, but we had a hard
We
time
got the gist of it.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys have anything you want to chat about? I can show you some pictures from my trip.
Stephanie was just mentioning something.
Sure, Steph.
I was just saying, I just got another RFQ for a large corporate event. It just seems like I don't know if it's just everybody's tired of COVID and they're done and they're moving on and they're all scheduling up events.
Well, I think
So
you're partially right with that. So there's a lot of stuff that's been percolating. We're getting to crunch time. This is crunch time, and then and some of these corporations, they've got budgets, and if they don't spend the budget, then they don't even know what they're going to do if they don't spend the budget. They got to spend it. So you're not the only one getting these event things, but and other RFQs too. So.
So far, they've all been budgeting for next year. One's January, one's May, one's November. And then the telephone company here, everything is budgeting for next year.
Yep. They need to get those items on the thing. But as far as getting tired of COVID, yeah, I think I think that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, whether those people in the tunnel want it or not, it's coming.
Yeah, it seems like feel like they've put it off for 2 years and they're like, we're done. We're not putting it off for another year.
There's so crazy. So many lawsuits going to come from this last 2 years. So many things that will be with us for the next 2 millennia from these last 2 years. I think they overplayed their hand. And some people, do you know how many people are making masks now? Those people don't want to go away. Do you know how much money is being made on keeping small businesses shut so Amazon can sell to everybody? Billions of dollars. No matter what anybody tells you, Republican or Democrat, it's all about the money, baby. It's all about the money. And
people are making
yeah,
mask and testing and gloves and sanitizer.
Well, I can, I don't want to go too far on a tangent, but I can remember 24 months ago, everybody hated Pfizer. Now Pfizer is the greatest company in the world, and they're making like trillions of dollars. And Pfizer's going, hey, I think we might need a third booster.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Do you think they're going to let that go? It's not in their nature. So anyway, y'all want to see some pictures?
Sure.
I'll share some pictures.
Yeah.
with you.
I had one other question on Stephanie's thing. She had posted on Facebook, and I started this. I didn't comment on it, but I was kind of waiting to see what the response was. She was asking about culling services for these events and whatever. For me, would it be better to cull them yourself and then hire a retoucher to do a general retouch? Because that way you are at least selecting the images that you like.
No,
so
it's the culling that takes forever.
Yeah. And the thing is that it's literally people at podiums and people shaking hands. I mean, it's so non-artistic. And you just got to get one where their mouth doesn't look weird being in the middle of a word, And so the culling is literally so simple. It's just time consuming. Because I was telling Dawn, what I do is I wait for the person to get up on the podium. You get the handshake, then they get up there, and then there's a split second where they look up at the audience away from their notes, and they maybe smile, crack a lame joke. That whole thing is just maybe a few seconds, 30 seconds. And I just kind of hold the shutter down because I can't time it, So I just hold the shutter down, blast through it, and then go back and cull through 50, I don't know, however many photos. Pick one.
Did you find a service, Steph?
Well, I just did a web search, and that one looks really nice because it's like, say 3,000 photos would be like $150, but they have a package, so it might only be like 119 just to
Yeah.
color, and that would even color correct some. So, I mean, yeah, to just hand off 3,000 photos and in a day or two get them back, here's the good ones. Like that takes away all of my
Yep.
negative feelings
Yep.
that I have towards,
Yeah,
'cause
absolutely.
I don't mind doing the event, and seeing the people taking the shots, you know.
Photographers beat themselves into submission sometimes over inconsequential money. I've heard photographers go, "Oh, no one's ever going to edit my stuff. I only edit my stuff." I'm thinking, well, you're silly. Of course you want to get somebody to edit your stuff. You don't make any money editing. And if you're if you're like depending on 4 hours of Photoshop to make your month, you need to aim higher, right? So, okay, so you guys know I have the business book. You all have the business book, right? Because I give it away for free.
Yeah.
And I want to print it because I promised the people in summer that I'd give them a printed copy. So I can't print it with the pictures in it. I realize it just doesn't come out well, or it'll be, way too expensive. So then it sort of dawned on me, I don't need pictures in the business book. Why am I putting pictures in the business book? Screw that. Take them out. So I'm looking at a 128-page book. I now have to take the words out of and stick it into a new InDesign document to do a textbook, right? So I went to Fiverr because the thought of me doing that, I was like, yeah, this ain't happening. I was sitting there on an InDesign for that time. So I get this guy at Fiverr. And he says, well, since it's an InDesign, it'll probably be a custom job. And I said, oh, okay, give me a price. He's going to take a 128-page book that's currently 8.5 by 11, create a new document 6 by 9, and cut and paste all that text into the new document 6 by 9, format it beautifully for printing and everything. And he apologized because his price was going to be $125.
Oh, that's so worth it.
You're like, sign me up. Where do I sign?
I said, deal. And then there's a little part in my head going, you're going to tip this kid. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to give him a nice tip. I don't want to put the tip on I don't want to say, hey, I'm going to pay you $175 for doing this. I don't want to do that because then Fiverr takes that money. They get the commission.
Right.
But if I tip him, he gets all of the tip. So he'll get a nice tip from me. I couldn't believe it. He was like, I'm sorry, but it's going to be like $125. Okay, we're good. Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, let me share a couple. Go ahead, Mark.
I've got my Squarespace thing on Fiverr, and it's been there for probably about a month and a half, 2 months now, and I'm going to redo the cover image that I have. I think that's the only thing to make a difference. But even just getting impressions, over the past month and a half, I've had like maybe 115 impressions where it's even showing up, and then one click on it. So there's so little control that you have over trying to get traffic to it. It's frustrating.
Yeah, you gotta try to drive some traffic yourself to it if you can.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I got a little hodgepodge of things here that, I was telling people in another group that I hear music when I make photographs. I hear music, my own music up there. I'm not hearing the Eagles or something. I'm hearing my own music, and I wanted to show some pictures that sort of talked about it. And this is a very, it's almost random placement of yellow trees here, right? But I see these trees as notes. Those are the melody, and the green trees are the harmonies, thick harmony, little melody. And I hear this kind of music in my head with strings and orchestration and everything. If I think about it, if I don't think about it, it's there under the current, but I can definitely see it. But I was just really knocked out by how the yellow trees would just pop through there. This was up on top of $1 Million Highway, And we had a mix of aspens in bloom and aspens that had been in bloom and pine trees and this beautiful, absolutely glossy lake. So I thought that was pretty cool. This is one I shot last week, and not sure if I like the black and white one better or the color one better. Sort of tending to go with the black and white one, but there's something about the color one that I like as well. So we'll see. My homage to Ansel Adams. Okay. Run through by a bike. These were hanging from a wire outside a restaurant. And I just love the symmetry of it, you know, this one going this way, this one going that way. I thought, did a stylist hang them up there? Because they're styled so perfectly for hanging off the wire. Can't get any better than that. I always look for that one tree in the forest. Always looking for that one tree. This guy, this is the second time I've photographed him, second time in 2 autumns in a row. And I told my wife, I said, we're just as we get down the road here, just before we get into Silverton, there's a pull off and there's an area where you can shoot that one aspen tree. And I got there and there it was. There it was. Bark beetle damage is far worse this year than it was last year on this same mountain. I have the same picture from last year. And the bark beetle damage is, I mean, almost none of them are dead. Now, you know,
Wow.
about 20% of them are dead. It's really scary what those things can do. I like the isolation. I always like one tree. This was right at dawn. You can see the shadows from the trees over here right at dawn. And this tree caught all of the light of dawn. And I just really, really liked it. Just on the side of the road where our resort was. And kind of a, you know, Edward Weston did the Oceana series, Rocks and Sand, and I saw something that I've always stuck with. And I ended up doing a series of these on the beach, these rocks where the waves will come in and then they'll rush out and they'll leave a little pool of water, or they leave all these beautiful lines in the sand.
Yeah, I like that. I like that one. Yeah.
Really tried to, you know, do something with it. Here's a couple of shots that I like. That I love. I'm always photographing shadows. So this tree was just to this was just to the left of this tree. So I thought, well, that's really, really cool. I've got this shadow going this way and the tree going that way against the same wall. So I printed it like this. And you can see that this shadow over here is on the other side here going that way. So I just like little things. I'm captivated by light. I don't do big landscapes. If I do, I don't do them well, you know, with big wilderness things. I really like just little moments, and I just shoot for that audience of one. So
There you go.
Thanks for letting me show.
Oh, you know, when you showed the sneakers,
yeah,
it kind of reminded me of a conversation I had years and years ago. This photographer, I can't remember who it was, in a either blog or a YouTube video, mentioned that, you know, when you go out, you want to capture something unique, something different, even if it's something that's been over photographed. You want to find some new angle and this, that, and the other. And it started making me think. It says, for example, you know, I'm very close to New York, so I'll go into New York and do street photography. And there are certain iconic images, like the view of Manhattan from the Dumbo area underneath the Manhattan Bridge, very iconic, where you see the Empire State Building in the distance.
Yep.
And that conversation popped into my head. And I says, you know what? That's bullshit. So what if 100 million photographers have taken that same exact shot? It's not in my collection.
Right.
I want it in my collection. I don't want somebody else's photo in my collection. I want my photo in my collection.
It's the Horseshoe Bend out here.
Yeah.
At the Colorado River. The thing about the Horseshoe Bend is the same as the Dumbo shot. It's the same thing.
Yes.
There's only one shot, folks. It's not like you can
Yes.
move over to the left or move. The river comes around. There's a little overlook, and then it goes back this.
Yep.
You can't walk over it. And if you did, you'd miss the horseshoe, right? Only one shot. And yeah, as Zabriskie Point is another one in Death Valley. When you pull up there, there's really, that's it over there. That's your shot. Good luck, you know. What do you do though? You take the shot. I think you take the shot knowing that you're one of a million people that have photographed it, but it's your photograph at that point. You can claim what's good about it, and you can own what's bad about it, you know. But if you don't, you know, it's like a lottery ticket, if you don't buy $1 lottery ticket, you ain't gonna win. If you don't take that picture of the Snake River or Zabriskie Point or whatever, because you feel other people have taken too many of them, you've already lost yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Go ahead and make the shot. Certainly isn't going to hurt.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because you mentioned the thing about, you know, when you photograph certain things, you hear the music. For me, it's I experience the sensations, the sights, the sounds, and the smells of being in that place. And whenever I look at my images, it brings me back to that location, you know, and I feel the full emotion of it.
Yep. I got mine from a couple weeks ago, the height of land up in Rangeley in Maine. Like this picture is another one of those.
Awesome.
It's from the pull off, but I still took the picture because the colors were that way.
Every one of Ansel Adams' pictures were taken from pull-offs.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't hike through the wilderness. That was a GM ad. That was, you know, on locations. He shot from the road as
on top of his car.
Honestly, most of the people who make photographs.
Yeah.
And to your point, Deck, you're absolutely right. When I pick up my picture of Horseshoe Pass, it's okay. It's nothing to read. There's a whole lot worse. There's a whole lot better. It's a nice shot. I can remember being there.
Yeah.
Remember taking the picture, and I can remember thinking to myself, what a terrible place to be if you were dizzy. Because when I was there was no railing. I was there pre the construction there. And you know, you stand and you do this and you go, there really is nothing here. I wonder how many people fall off, you know. But if you do fall off, you have enough time to recite poetry before you hit the bottom. I mean, there's a long way. But it's, you take it because it's what you do.
Yeah.
I think it's different than taking it because you think, all of a sudden you think, well, boy, you know, Ansel shot the mountains, but wait till you see my shot. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that there's probably people that have done shots that are even, you know, quote, better, unquote, than Ansel's shots. I mean, there's always somebody doing a new twist on something. Someday we're going to see a shot of that Dumbo from under the bridge, and we're going to go, oh man, why didn't I think of that? That should be my shot. Someone's going to figure out how to do it. So
I updated my Lightroom yesterday because I'm getting caught up on some other pictures that I need to process now that I'm caught up on client stuff. Oh my God. I love the new masking stuff on it.
Oh yeah.
Have you played with the new masking on it yet, Don?
Yeah. Oh, Don.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. You had Duck. Yeah. Because you can add
Yeah, there's a couple things I don't like about it, but they're minor, and hopefully they'll fix it.
There's one thing I wish that you could do, and maybe you can, and I just started playing with it, haven't figured it out, because you can invert the selection and make a change.
That's one of the things that they need to fix.
Yeah,
have
you
to be
can.
careful. You can only see the way it works is every time you make a modification,
Mhm.
that modification stands on its own.
Yeah.
And gets kind of like multiplied to the mask.
Yeah.
So if you invert one, it breaks that entire chain.
Yep. Yeah. And then the other, because I thought it was great, like I could select the people with that mask, make some adjustments on there, invert it, and then adjust the sky. And then I flip back. I'm like, no, that doesn't work.
No.
You have to make two completely different selections. Where if you had it where you could just like apply that selection to like another one, and maybe you can, and I'm still trying to figure it out, but it's pretty quick. I mean, even on my old computer, it didn't take very long to select it.
The select sky is awesome. I've yet to find an image that it doesn't recognize the sky for me.
Yeah.
And I've only been playing with it for a week. The
Yeah.
subject select, that's the one that, is tricky.
I have a shot that I just posted on Facebook. It's got a pretty sky, a giant mountain, and some aspen trees in color up front. It got the sky dead on, even down where the sky goes behind the pine trees. Got the sky dead on. Beautiful adjustments to the sky. I hit subject, and it would only pick one tree. That's it. and I still need to figure out how to add to that mask, but it would get that one tree. And everything else was not selected.
Yeah. The subject AI is not good with nature stuff. It's good with people, not good with nature stuff. That's what
we'll see. I'm real pleased with some of the fine adjustments that you can do with it. It is kind of scary. For me, I picked an image that was badly exposed. I shot the picture before. I thought, hey, I should check and see what I'm on.
I've done
Okay. And I'm like, I look at it and go, holy shit, that ain't gonna work. And and then I shot it, right? I took that one into Lightroom, and all I can say is you'd never know. I missed exposure by a lot.
Yeah.
It just cleaned up everything. Then the good shot, I did a little cleanup in the good shot. I put them together in Photoshop last night, and I just like cut them and put them together. You can see the one that's been highly digitally manipulated. You can see that it's breaking the histogram kind of thing. It's breaking it everywhere to get it to spread out. But if you made a 5x7 of it, I don't think I could tell on a 5x7. I really doubt that you'd see the difference. So I don't want the craft of photography to go the way of pushing a button. I don't want that to happen, because like we were saying at the beginning of this thing, if there's no value in learning it, there's no value to it at all. I mean, if it's not, you can't bring some value forward, then we'll be a bunch of people out there buying $3,000 toys to play with because the toy will do everything for us. Okay, I get it. I'm okay with folks, but if that's what it's going to come to, it's going to be a really tough time. Look at the music industry.
Auto tune.
Just I don't know if you've ever seen the documentary Before the Music Dies. No. If you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube. I recommend you watch it. They take a 17-year-old girl, cute girl. She can't sing worth shit. They write a song in 5 minutes. They give her the stuff. She sings, and the audio engineers are going, this, and they just put her through auto-tune. Boom. Within 5-10 minutes, she's tuned up. They add the sounds of the click track, the clap track and everything, and the guitar, and they take one guitar and they break it into 4 different things and they put it up there. and they put it out and it's a hit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like people were going, oh, we love that song. Oh, she's so cute and everything. So if that's all it takes, then, you know, I've noticed that one last thing, then I'll go. I know we're going over. I've noticed that, and I don't know if you guys have in your neighborhood, but we used to have 5 garage bands around our house. And I know demographics changing and stuff, but I haven't heard a garage band in forever. And I used to go over across the street and listen to these guys. They suck the suck out of suck, but at least they were trying. They were doing something, you know. And it was fun to encourage them to see them get better over time. I don't, because like we said at the beginning, the kids are like, oh no, if I play a wrong note, or if if we're not really good, then they get brutalized on social media, and that's a no-no.
Yeah. I was gonna say, for what you were talking about a minute ago, I had the comment the other day when I was showing somebody some of my restaurant photography I've been doing, the comment of, oh, you must have a really nice camera, because you get that and you hate that, but then at the same time, because I was frustrated and I'm like, no, it's okay. I mean, you could get it used for $150. Now it's an older model. It does okay. But then it made me realize, because we talk about how the gear doesn't matter. But then when somebody says that, if you think about it, they're like, oh, you must have a really nice camera. Well, we're in a day and age where gear doesn't matter, and everybody's shooting these new iPhones, and they see a picture like that and think that you must have a really nice camera. They must still, they aren't able to achieve the same type of results with their, with their iPhone, even, because they don't have the eye. And I'm thinking about doing a project, and I'd like to see what your opinion is, where I want to go just use, like, this Octobox just has a LED from Walmart in it. It's like a $7 LED that I took the socket out of one of the metal domes, and I clamped it in the flash clamp, the Godox, S clamp, and using a couple of those and my phone. So I got constant light and phone, and doing like a series of products or something in a book.
Oh yeah, if you go on YouTube, Mark, you'll find there's a guy who did a beer shot with his iPhone. And I think it was an iPhone 6 or 7. It was a couple of years ago. And it's really, he did it with the iPhone, he did it with a Hasselblad. So if you look for iPhone versus Hasselblad, the Hasselblad took a better shot. The question was, did it take a $45,000 better shot? That was a question that was like very easily answered. No.
Right. If you're not blowing this up.
If you ran that as an ad this big in a magazine, you would never tell the difference. And if you did it on a website as a ad here for beers, you'd never tell. There's no possible way you would say, oh, that's an iPhone shot.
Yeah.
No, the gear doesn't matter anymore, and what matters is the point of view of the photographer.
Yeah, I just thought
if we don't develop our own point of view, or at least something that's somewhat unique, then we're just another part of the crowd making exposures.
Yeah. It's like, it's that epiphany, the double-edged sword of gear doesn't matter. But then when they see a picture, their first assumption is, oh, you've got a really nice camera.
Yeah, but I don't ever worry about what consumers say. They don't know. They're fed a line of bullshit from camera manufacturers. If they buy this camera, their pictures will come out great. So they think it's the camera. Then I don't care about that.
But if you look through your workflow through some of your photo shoots, how much of the stuff that you're using is DIY cobbled together stuff to bend the light around?
Yep.
Oh, all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's it's like I said, I've said back from the Strobus days, there's no way I'm going to take a Pringles can and put it in my bag as a piece of gear and show up at a shoot somewhere and have somebody go, you're using a Pringles can for a snoot, right?
Yeah.
But if I'm at the shoot, there's no way I'll ever hesitate to run down and get two things of Pringles and bring them back. We're going to bend them and do that. And at the end of the shoot, I throw them away. Or maybe I use them back in the studio. But you can't collect a large day rate if you show up with Pringle cans and cardboard,
No.
you know. But you can always DIY.
Can you tell that this is DIY?
What is
No, I
it?
don't. Not from that far away. We can't even tell what it is.
It's a
Grim.
it's a DIY diffuser.
Yeah, in a picture frame.
Nice.
No, I bought square stock, 3/4 inch or a 1/2 inch square stock.
Oh,
aluminum
okay.
Square stock and some diffusing material. I made my
How's
own
it
diffuser,
attached?
you know? So whenever I make my DIY stuff, I want to give it that little bit of a professional look.
Sure.
So like going back to what you said, you don't want to show up with a Pringles can. So I make sure that my stuff doesn't look like Pringle cans.
Absolutely.
You know
Absolutely.
the video that you shared about, I think his name was Platon, that photographer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because I kind of get embarrassed sometimes about using a shoot through umbrella. I mean, it's not DIY, but sometimes people see those and they're like, really? And I was like, looking his video, and he did all those portraits with that shoot through umbrella.
Mhm.
And I was like, man, if he can pull that off, like, there's no reason to be ashamed over a stinking shoot through umbrella.
Well,
It's beautiful.
yeah, look at Greg Gorman's work. Fantastic photographer. Check out his work, and it's all bounce cards. It's all white cards and sunlight. So, all right, folks, everybody have a great one. Thanks for coming out, and we'll see you all next week. Take care.
Have a good one.
Be safe.
Bye.